Rolling.
What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. We got tons going on. Oh, snap. And as we're signing in, we got Lee, Hudson, Comedy, just crossed the channel. He went to the Marseille PSG game, so we're going to hear about that as hopefully he won't get mugged during the podcast because it sounds like he's just walking down the street. So we hope that doesn't happen. And if it does, good for our ratings. We're going to talk. There's so many derbies. There's El Clasico, Real Madrid versus Barcelona. We're going to talk the British El Clasico, Real Madrid. Liverpool versus Man City. We're going to talk Chelsea versus Villa. You know, the game where Neil's team tried to get Steven Gerrard sacked. Manchester United versus Newcastle. West Ham versus Southampton. Lee got some points, but I don't know how happy he is about all that. So we'll get to that. Spurs, another vicious, ugly win. Just ugly in their way to second in the league. Just disgusting. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, for helping to put all this together. Let's get the introduction going. What's up, Neil? Stand-up comic, Neil Chakravarty.
Hey,
Chelsea fan, you good?
all good. I was just trying to figure out if any managers got sacked or not. Turns out they haven't yet.
Nobody so far.
Nobody so far.
No Steven Gerrard, no Xavi.
I'm hoping it comes through in the next 1 hour while we're recording.
No, knowing our luck, it'll happen right after we finish recording.
Yeah.
So we won't be able to. We would have missed the opportunity, the scoop opportunity.
Yeah.
And what up, Lee? Tell us where you are and why you are where you are. And this is Lee Hudson, stand-up comic, Southampton fan.
Yeah.
What's up, fam?
Yo, which football club are you closest to right now?
I'm currently walking through the streets of London. I was on a train back from Paris. It got delayed by almost 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's arrived back in London so late that I can't even get the subway back to where my car is. So I'm walking.
How far is your?
But London's
how many
still busy.
stations do you have to? Oh, okay, it's London. That's a busy Monday night in London.
Yep.
How many train stations do you have to walk?
I might log off if the sounds. Tell me if the sound's bad if you can't hear me. But yeah.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you. It's not that bad on my earset, so hopefully, like the people watching and listening could like hear it the way I'm hearing it. But so how far?
That's fun. Yeah, it was a busy 48 hours, but I'm gonna get home eventually.
All right. See, we wanted to start with Liverpool versus Arsenal, Liverpool versus Man City. My bad, but we don't know how long it's going to take for you to get mugged. So before you get mugged, tell us as much as you can. So you went to Paris. You took the train to go see Marseille versus PSG. So when did you get? Yeah, when did you get this new sugar daddy? Because last week you went to like a big game, Arsenal versus who did you go see last week?
Arsenal Liverpool last week.
Yeah, that was, and then this is a derby potentially too, or a French El Clasico. These are rivals, or is it? So how'd the game go down?
Like Marseille were pretty solid, but they. Hold on.
Is he lazy? Did he just get attacked?
It's just the fun of London.
Yeah.
No, Marseille were pretty solid in the game. It was they started well, and then PSG's quality just broke them down. Mm-hmm. They started making more and more chances. Messi hit the bar with a great free kick. And then Neymar took his chance. Mbappe teed him up. Those two didn't seem to have any problems. They seemed all good.
Oh yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah, contrary to the rumours, they celebrated together. They were looking for each other with passes the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they did their thing. Yeah, Messi was class. Verratti was fun to watch. Everything he does is high quality. Vitinha as well is underrated. He's pretty special.
Vitinha?
Yeah.
Vitinha, yeah. Considering he's at Wolves like the other season on loan from Porto.
And then what was the score of the game? Because I still didn't get to see the highlights of it. Like, because because of El Clasico and then everything else that was going on this weekend.
It was 1-0 PSG.
And who scored?
Neymar with the Mbappe assist, 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
So damn, that must have been like. What made you decide to like go out to Paris? Did you want to get away from Southampton and their impending loss to West Ham that bad? Because they didn't lose. I don't know if you know your score, but you guys got a point.
Oh no, I followed that as well. No, yeah, I just wanted to watch some good football.
Some good football.
I did a show there tonight as well.
Oh, you did?
Oh, cool.
How'd that go?
So yeah, it was pretty good. It's been a fun 48 hours.
Oh, that's pretty dope,
apart from the Southampton result, I'm scrubbing that from my memory. It was a bad draw. I'm not counting that as a good point.
I mean, West Ham is formidable. You don't respect a point from West Ham?
Not at home. We should be doing better. I'm going 1-0 up as well. Like we went 1-0 up against Everton. We threw it away to 2-1. We're throwing a 1-0 away here. We gotta do better than that. We need some points. We're in the relegation zone. We need some points. Bournemouth make or break on Wednesday now.
Let me see where y'all at on this thing. Premier League. Let me go to standings. Southampton. I'm scrolling. I'm down at the bottom. Yeah, you're 18. All right, but you're 1 point behind the 15th team. You know what I mean? 2 points behind the 10th team. So it's like, is this really a relegation zone at this point? You got 9. Everton is 14. They got 10. West Ham is 12. And they have 3 more points than you. It's like next week, if you win, they lose, you guys swap places pretty much. So it's not like you could be 12th. You could be 11th if Fulham loses and you win. If you played each other, it's not. It's just like it's just the same way you don't count Arsenal's 27 points now. It only counts later when you add in the total from the other games. And Arsenal's in first. You know how seasons are. Normally, you're chasing away from the relegation zone at the end of the season. I think he flipped it. You want to sit in there now, and at the end of the season, you're like way above it. Like you just flipped your season around. The order.
I don't like it that way round.
I don't you like being in the relegation zone at any point.
I think the real problem is there's the 2 teams that were considered to be relegation favorites, Bournemouth and Fulham. They're doing pretty good right now. So so suddenly there's 2 other teams that are pulled down into the relegation zone. Maybe a couple of others into the relegation battle because those 2 aren't there.
Yeah, I mean, I predicted Everton to be there. I didn't know if Bournemouth would be there because I couldn't get a grasp for them because they just got promoted.
The thing is, though, a couple of wins can change our season, but I don't know when those couple of wins are coming right now. That's the problem, and we need one on Wednesday, really.
Who you got on Wednesday?
Bournemouth.
That'd be a big game. Bournemouth are actually, the funny thing, Bournemouth are the only team in the league that are unbeaten in their last 5 games.
Yeah, Gary O'Neill's done a great job as caretaker. Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee, I would like to tell you, Bournemouth. 3 points, but I wouldn't bet against Bournemouth right now, bro.
Yeah.
So, are you at their house or they at yours?
It's their place.
Yeah, they don't care where they play. They're getting some points. This new
they've got weaknesses
coach.
though. We just need to exploit it.
Yeah, what's their weakness?
They got a lot of fight. They come back from being behind, so we need to just be a bit more resilient. If we go in front, we need to defend properly.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to make sure we play the game properly. We've been playing half games recently.
Someone's having fun.
Yeah, somebody had too much fun. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
And the cops got to come end it. So let's go ahead.
Before people complain about the sound quality and stuff, I'll log off if you want. Save you guys.
No. We're going to talk about the Liverpool Man City game. So then,
okay.
You can mute it, right?
I've seen it.
All right, good. So you can, like, we're going to go first, and then I guess you can mute it, even though I don't hear anything right now. And then when it's one of us is going to go first, and then you'll go second.
Okay, cool.
Wow. So I guess, Neil, what's your take on the Man City Liverpool game this weekend?
I mean, the Liverpool, the real Liverpool showed up. They got everything that makes them good, going early on in the game. They didn't wait like a long time, even though the first half City had most of the ball, and they could have probably, hurt Liverpool more. But Liverpool, their biggest problem has been defensively this season. Like they get found out so easily. But I think this is just the kind of game somebody like Van Dijk needed, because I don't think Van Dijk's been having really bad form, right? But I don't think anybody's suggesting that this is it. Like Van Dijk's never going to be a good defender again. So it was bound to change at some point. And I think games like Man City, with the prospect of, going up against Erling Haaland, who everybody is drooling over as a defender, I think it really hurts your pride. And these are games you want to show up for and essentially lay a marker down. Like, hey, you're in our league now. Like, I've been bossing this league for the last 3 or 4 years. You're here now, so I'm going to show you how it's done. Because I think there's been a little bit of casualness in Van Dijk's defending this season. I don't know if it's the injury, because it was a pretty long-term injury. I don't know if that's got a psychological role to play, or just the fact that he kind of sometimes feels that he can get away with not being absolutely 100% precise all the time. But I think this matchup came at just the right time for him, and switched into gear. Joe Gomez was great too. I know he's become a little bit of a meme in the last in this season with a lot of the mistakes that he made, but he was really good. He was like the Joe Gomez of that before that partnership that he had with Van Dijk.
Right.
I think in the 18-19 season.
Yeah, when he stole Matip's job.
Right, exactly. And James Milner at right back, I think it also helped that Trent is out of the team. Like, it's probably a blessing in disguise, because suddenly you're not because right now the issue is defensive, right? So you have somebody much more resolute, even though Milner is nowhere near the level of footballer Trent is, but maybe it just makes things a lot more simpler when the team is trying to be set up in defensive situations. And Liverpool can hurt you in attack always. Like, even bad Liverpool teams, like what they've been going through in the last couple of weeks, they always have a knack of scoring goals, and they have killers up front. I always keep saying that. Like Salah, he had one-on-one with the keeper, and he fluffed his lines. But you're gonna give that opportunity
Did
that
he
guy.
flop his line, or is it a really good goalkeeper save it? It's like the best in two departments going at each other.
Yeah, but I
Round
think
one.
right, but I think there are times when you're one-on-one and you're that level of player, you just take the keeper out of the equation. And
yeah, if it's a normal keeper, but this guy.
No, you could do it with the best of keepers because you're one-on-one. Like the advantage, the odds are in your favor.
This guy ain't no normal keeper, bro. Like I'm like shocked.
And
like,
this guy is not a normalist, forward either. So
right. So it's like because he did it right, but the keeper, like I always feel like one-on-ones are a game of chicken, and you have to win the game of chicken.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was no blinking, and then I feel like on the second one, like Salah just eliminated the blinking by taking a shot from a further distance.
Yeah.
So that he'd be able to get it around. But again, I don't think Edison blinked. He just got outmeasured. Nobody could say that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you give a player of Salah's caliber that opportunity twice in the same game. He's not going to keep missing. Like
the first one's practice, and the second one is for real. Yeah.
So and that's all they needed. I mean, you don't need to win 2-0, 3-0, although they could have at the end because City was pouring so many players down the other end. Like in transition, Liverpool had it very easy. There was a 3-on-1 with Nunes. I think that was one of the worst performances I've seen by a cameo performance by a sub. He had, I think, 2 or 3 opportunities to bury their game, and he missed all of them.
Yeah, it's like pass the ball, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, if
this
City
is not the game to be a hero. Like,
if City score one, you'll never. This is worse than your red card when you're 3-game suspension. Right? Like Liverpool fans are gonna turn on you. Like, you can't do that. You have to pass that ball. Like, there's no way. You have it was Salah on the field at the time. Was it Salah who was ahead?
Yeah, I think it was Salah, and I don't know who the third guy was. But
yeah, that's how you ruin that. That's like a Shaka Arsenal offense of ripping the armband off. If City come back and score, and you didn't make that pass, and the game ends 1-1, that's the moment that nobody will forget. That's the meme and the screenshot.
Yeah, it's a very charged game too. Like you saw on the sidelines, both managers had the histrionics on, and I think it's just the moment of the game. I know Klopp got sent off for probably shouldn't be body barging anybody, but
well, before you get to that, we're gonna get to those points in the game. Because I want to go over the goal.
The disallowed goal.
The disallowed goal and everything. So I'm going to try to be brief. Like, I just feel I don't understand this formation that Klopp played, and I want to kind of ask you guys about it because it's funny. Like, when you watch the formation that they put out on Match of the Day, it was a 4-3-3-3. That's what the studio says Klopp was playing. But when you look on Google, or I think when you watch the match on in America, and in the people in the studio, the lineup they put, it's like everybody had a different way everybody's lined up. But the one I see is Salah. It's a 4-2-3-1, which Salah is central, and he did get those balls, those 2 opportunities from a central position, but he also did play wide. So you guys can explain this more to me. But the thing I did want to say, I think what was key was either it was Klopp or the occasion, but those 2 things got these players up for this game. As far as Liverpool is concerned, like Man City always this season so far, and most of the seasons have risen to the occasion. This season, Liverpool hasn't started fast and risen to the occasion. They didn't rise to the occasion against Arsenal. But this game right here, with like if there's a turn on switch, that shit was turned on. And like you needed the performances from Harvey Elliott, who's young, has lots of ability, technical player, but you need him to play edgy. And it's probably because of coming back from an injury. He's young, and does a young technical player like that have the edge to play in a game like this, to do the grimy shit, to hunt people down, and to help with defensive work, especially on Milner's old ass side of the pitch. You know what I mean? So you like, if they can get the energy, that's that Gavi energy out of this kid on a regular basis, then that's part of their midfield problem solved. And then Thiago Alcantara, like very gifted technically, but does he put the shift in all the time like he did in this game? They got the shift out of him. And they got the shift out of Jota. Fabinho, he's been maligned. He hasn't been playing that well. They got the shift out of him. It's like the midfield, to me, this season has reminded me of when Liverpool's was trying to defend their title and the whole defense got hurt. Every player. So to me, they're having the same problem in their midfield this season, but it's not as obvious as like you saw every player in the defense the season before get injured, you know? So it's like you can tell only by looking at the results, you're like, something's wrong with this midfield. Not even, I don't blame it all on Trent. I guess some of it is on Trent. Maybe he's tired too, but you have to take a chance, and you have to get this midfield up for this game. And they were up for the game. They turned Man City over. They rattled Man City. It's good to see Man City rattle. They be rattling everybody. It was so much fun to see them like, what? Oh shit! Like, you ever see like a Frogger on high speed? Like they're in the middle of the street, cars are going by, they're getting hit, and it was good to see them getting rattled like that. So I think
Liverpool probably one of the few teams in the team that can do that, in the league that can do that. So it is important for the league itself for Liverpool to be to show up.
Yeah, despite the formation, the main thing was that Liverpool players got up for the game and up enough to get into Man City's players' head. And I don't understand his formation, but I know psychology, the psychology part of the tactics was right. Lee, what's your opinions on this?
I think that could be like the turning point for Liverpool this season. I think a result like that should give them confidence. Like you said, they came with an attitude that we haven't really seen from them this season, where they wanted to, they were up for the big game. They wanted to compete. They wanted to scrap and challenge. I think that is reflected in Klopp on the touchline. But like you saw, he was like, he hasn't been behaving like that for a while. That was, that was him maybe going over the line. Well, I think he did go over the line, but
I don't think he went over the line.
I think the players needed that from him in a way. He's an angry guy when he wants to be, but I think the players needed to see that from him as well. But like you say, they seemed up for it. There's some interesting calls in the game, and I think there was a lot of spice before the game as well. Like Klopp was throwing shade at before the game as well. Then Guardiola was throwing some shade afterwards with the the Stanfield stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think, like I say, you want games that mean something. You want games that make people feel something, and I think that's what this was. It will maybe light a fire under City to come back stronger. It will maybe light a fire under Liverpool to get their season started. So it was fun to watch because it was just two good teams really going at it and competing, which is what you want to see in those games.
I feel sorry for the team that has to play City after this, because City does not play midweek, because they're supposed to play Arsenal, but that game is postponed because Arsenal, when the Queen died, they had a Europa League game canceled because they couldn't have enough police. So they're going to play that Europa League. Yeah. So now, which is good. I want to see Gakpo play. So that'll be cool. I want to monitor him. But so Man City has the weekend off to deal with their first loss and take it out on Brighton. So Brighton got the hell to pay on the weekend. And that new Italian coach, this is a rough, this start is rough because he's got 1 tie, 2 losses, and now he's got City. So good luck to him.
They got Forest midweek first, so he might get some points there.
Yeah, he might get. Yeah, that's almost some definite points. Yeah, yeah, he better get those points against Forest. Like that's there's no excuses. Yeah. Now, was that a goal? City's first goal or no goal? What do you guys think? Whoever wants to go first, go first. I'll give you my opinion.
I think it was a foul. So if the rule is that a foul's in the build-up chalk up goals, then I think it is the right decision.
100%. What do you think, Lee?
I think like Haaland on Fabinho is like it's probably just a foul. I don't think it's like that's a blatant foul. Like I think that's one where the referee could quite easily let that go, but I mean, and he did. But then having looked at it in detail on the VAR, I think the call was probably right in the end.
All right.
And also there's a question whether Alisson had the ball kicked out his hands too. So
the Alisson. Go ahead. I don't want to
think so.
That one. I think. Yeah, that one. I think they both got to it at the same time. At first, I was with you, but then I was like, nah. I saw it a bunch of times, or they got to it at the same time. So I don't know. I feel like if it wasn't for the foul before, that might have stayed the same way. But it was definitely a foul. Like he grabbed his shirt, yanked him down, and then his teammate got the ball. That's just a foul. Like it's like they let the game go, but when it leads to a goal, you just can't give that. So then there's this big talk sport thing where how much is I don't know, they created some issue with this call about just football period, and I forgot what they were saying because it was kind of like, okay, you guys are just looking for content. Like that's a foul. It doesn't matter how it wasn't like a bunch of plays later. It had an immediate effect on the game. It's just a foul, bro. There's nothing to.
I mean, Guardiola's point was that the referee had been saying that play on, play on, play on, but suddenly when we score a goal, the team. So every game has its own tempo, right? Like not all the games are refereed the same way. So I think his point was that the referee at the beginning of the game spoke to both matches and said that he's going to let things flow and not call every foul. And then such fouls were not called earlier in the game, but then when we score, suddenly you're calling such a foul. But he forgets that that's the whole point of VAR, that you let things flow unless and until they have an actual impact on the scoreline. And if they do, then that's when VAR gets involved. So you gotta.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. And then look at the foul on Salah early on in the game, like from behind. Like the ref let that go. That should have definitely been a foul. But all right, there was no, so fine. And I was telling a friend, I was talking to Kojo this morning, and everybody's like against that call, and I was like, hey man, sometimes the ref plays advantage, and if he does that, sometimes he has to play disadvantage. You know what I mean? And that foul was a disadvantage to the team who had the ball. So, hey man, foul, call it. Turn that game around. And
the one he didn't call later on though, that caused Klopp to explode. That was a foul as well.
That's the thing. That ref had a good game. I would not say he had a bad game. I said he had a really good game, and he let things go. But then he went a little too far on the Bernardo Silva Salah foul. Like that's you have to call that. And Klopp getting in the side judges, the sideline refs chest. That's that referee's fault. Also, the sideline ref's fault. Like, he should have put his flag up and said foul and made the referee blow the whistle. Like, what does he expect after that call to happen when you walk by that coach? Like, where in the history of football are you not going to make a call against Mo Salah, one of the most recognized forwards in football, and he gets fouled like that, and you say nothing? You keep your flag down, and then the next second, you're going to stroll by his coach and expect nothing? Like, that's all the ref's fault. Like, that's just too far. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. That's ridiculous.
I've got to jump on a bus, so I'm going to dip out.
All right. Thank you, brother, coming through.
I'm glad I made it on for something.
Yeah. We're glad you made it too. Thanks for the view of London. I haven't seen London in a minute.
Yeah, that's a nice.
Where you at exactly?
Oxford Circus.
Okay. Piccadilly?
Yeah, I'll be back from my living room on Thursday.
Okay.
All right, bet. Yeah, we got to do the Thursday games. Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
Catch you later. Cheers. Bye.
It's hilarious. You got to view London. Did you get a chance to see El Clasico?
No, because I mean, there's just too many games.
There was a lot this weekend. You know what I did this weekend? I went to a LA Galaxy playoff game, and you heard me right. Not LAFC playoff game, LA Galaxy playoff game. Yeah,
that's not your team though, huh?
No, it's not. It's my team, but you know, when I first moved here, all LA had was a Galaxy.
Yeah.
And Beckham was playing for them.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a Man United fan, so I went to a bunch of games, and I even have an LA Galaxy shirt.
Galaxy has had quite a few United players, right, over the years.
Who else have they?
Ibrahimovic. What about Chicharito?
Yeah, so he played. Yeah. So it's not like I ain't got no links. You feel me? He's playing for them right now. Yeah. So I went down to Carson and I checked that game out on Saturday afternoon. It was like a 12 o'clock kickoff. I went with Francisco, another comic. And then Saturday I went to a Rams game. So it's a pretty eventful like daytime weekend. Like normally I would just be like I'll wake up early, watch the games, and then sleep around the time I was at those games. So and then I had to watch all these other games. But yeah, I guess who's next should we talk about? We don't talk about Chelsea.
Surprisingly, I even missed the Chelsea game because I woke up so late.
Damn.
I was at a party till like till the early hours, but I usually always wake up for the Chelsea game. It's just that when I woke up, it was like the 87th minute.
Oh damn!
But yeah, I caught like parts of the game again afterwards, and I was just so happy to see the scoreline was 2-0, 2 Mason Mount goals. So waking up to that was crazy. It was pretty funny because Mount has been getting a lot of flack from even the Chelsea fan base in the like until the last couple of games. People are like, he's just. Why is this guy still in the team? Why is he getting benched? What's this favoritism? Tuchel is just playing favorites with Mount. And then Tuchel goes and Potter comes and then he does the same exact thing. Like Mount's one of those players it's pretty unreal. Like I've never seen a player who's been trusted by every manager and keeps delivering season after season, but still gets so much of question marks. Usually when somebody's...
You said keeps doing what?
He keeps performing. Like, you see his performances season over season. It's always good. Like, yeah, I mean, with like last season, he was Chelsea's best player. The season before that, he was Chelsea. He's probably in the top. The season before the Champions League, he's in the top 2 or 3.
I'm not against Mount. I kind of was at first because I was kind of like being a homer, and I wanted them to play Pulisic, and it felt like when he played, Pulisic didn't play. But this is what Mount is. Mount is every coach has given him more of a shot than Pulisic, fine. But also, Mount is still, how old is he, 22, 23?
Probably the same age, 23, maybe 24 now, but he was 21 when he came, so it's been 3 years. So,
I'm a check. I feel like he's gonna be this instant
23.
in 23. Yeah, there you go.
23.
So I feel like he is gonna be inconsistent because of his age, and I think 2 years from now, for the 5 years after 2 years from now, he'll be this consistent performer where he gives you, where he's always going to be up for man of the match. But it's still that he's still at the age at 23 to give him as much responsibility as he has at 23, like to be almost like the first guy on the roster. Plus, you play for England internationally. You guys are all in those tournaments, a lot of games, and to be able to like comprehend all of that and how to manage it and pace it out over a season, like it's just something you have to experience to know how to do at the highest level. So I believe in him for the future.
But I mean, even though he is pretty young, he's more consistent than any of the other young players around that age group. Like, he does so much stuff off the ball, and then he gets your goal contributions on the ball. So, and he's played in so like the versatility he offers. He plays in midfield. He plays in as an inside forward. He's played on the as a winger. He's also even like he's played in deep midfield and in attacking midfield. So it's not like he's had one settled position to just solidify his game around. He's been used because obviously he has the qualities to be used in that way, and that's part of the reason why every manager starting with Vitesse, then Frank Lampard, Tuchel, Southgate, Potter.
He's the hot girl. He's the hot girl who's nice. Like after you have sex, he'll go to the bathroom and get a hot towel and wipe you down. Like you're like, all right, this I have to. So I have a
you can't knock him.
Yeah, I can go to any girl's house tonight, but I'm going to hot towel Mount's house. You know what I mean? Because he's not an asshole. Not saying that every woman's an asshole, but you like a hot girl that is really
it's
nice.
Best of both worlds, And I mean, he didn't start the season well, so the criticism wasn't entirely unjustified. It's just that with him that what you're gonna get. Like it's not gonna be an entire month or two of no performances. And soon enough, like it started in the last game or two under Tuchel. And then under Potter, he's now started having the like against Milan, he was great. Against Wolves, he was great. He won the penalty and got the assist versus Milan again in the second game. Got 2 assists versus Milan in the first game. And yesterday he got the 2 goals. So a very different kind of goals. One almost like a poacher capitalizing on a Tyrone Mings mistake, and the second,
he had some voodoo doll luck on that one.
And that free kick, even though it was like one of those those knuckleballs in baseball or cricket where it dips right when you don't expect it to dip. So that was a brilliant technique. And
that was a Jorginho free kick, like not the Jorginho you have on your squad, but the Jorginho before that.
You mean Juninho?
Juninho, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. His free kicks, he had some amazing free kicks. So, I mean, he's doing everything right now. It's up to the rest of the attackers to step up. Like Havertz has been pretty on and off, even though he scored in the last 2 Premier League games. He's been blowing hot and cold. It seems like this case for his entire Chelsea career, actually. But again, some good performance. I think Potter started out with a weird formation. It was 3 at the back, and with Cucurella one of them, and then he had Sterling playing right wing back. That absolutely did not work. So then he swapped it out in the second half. He swapped it on the second half. Loftus-Cheek went back to right wing back. And this guy, again, Loftus-Cheek, I will say this, like the kind of season he's been having, like he's not having a bad game. So I actually wouldn't be surprised with the kind of injuries we are seeing. That he outside wild card shout for the England team at the World Cup. Because Southgate has previous with him. He took him to the last World Cup, and he was like nowhere to be seen afterwards in 4 years in between. But he's showing a lot of consistency in that part of the pitch where they might need players.
Right. What do you think of? I don't know if you read the thing about the FA being pissed at Chelsea for the way
for
Reece James letting him take the jet and hurting his knee on the jet. And now the injury is going to have him out 8 weeks when the World Cup is in 3 weeks. You think like a ride on an easy jet can injure a professional player to that extent?
It wasn't just the easy jet. Reece James was walking all around Milan because there are photos of random Chelsea fans bumping into him at the town square. Like, hey, this is Reece? What's he doing here? Wearing, by the way, a Chargers jersey.
Word.
I think I looked into it. So apparently Louis Vuitton came up with these concept jerseys on the San Diego Chargers, like when they're in San Diego, from some of the classic vintage jerseys. And
why the Chargers of all the NFL teams they could have picked?
Well, because Chargers, I don't know, because they're in LA and it's a suitable fit, I guess.
Chargers. Right.
So, and he was wearing that jersey, and then he's flying economy class on an easy jet the next day.
His jersey costs more than that plane. Like, why didn't you just trade in the jersey for a private jet?
But I think that was probably just the easiest option. Sometimes a commercial flight is the quickest way to get back, especially flying between Milan and some of these big cities.
What's your rush? You're injured.
I think initially, so the report that came out initially, the day of the injury, the day after, was that it's not that serious. And I think that's why he did all of that. And then he comes back and gets checked by the big time specialist. Like, oh, wait, the initial diagnosis wasn't that great, which, it can happen. But I'm not going to say
so it is Chelsea's fault.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the FA is wrong. Because I've not been happy with my medical department for a while now. So.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, I don't think we have a medical department right now because Boli fired everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think the new guys are like, at least, I mean, of course, the department is there, but I don't think there's anybody at the head of the operation.
That's why Tuchel got fired because he refused to run the medical department for Boli. And then Boli's like, this guy is not into this as much as I thought he was. He
refused to put the stethoscope on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe they have a case. I don't know. Like, I don't think anybody knows the real details of how it happened. But I wouldn't be surprised if we messed up. And also,
great job, Chelsea. Thank you.
Yeah, this really sucks. Like, it sucks for us as a Chelsea fan because he's a huge blow. Like him, and because we are not a complete team right now. We are nowhere near a complete team.
And now you got no Marcos Alonso.
He's left back, but
okay.
But
fills in. So who's his backup?
We didn't really buy a backup. There's a lot of talk about Denzel Dumfries from, I think, Inter Milan, and there's this other league.
Who replaced him last year?
Loftus-Cheek, and he's gonna have to do the job again now.
Oh, last year when he was.
Yeah, he mostly played Loftus-Cheek there, and Azpilicueta sometimes. But Azpilicueta was really good versus Wolves last week, and somebody said it best online that this is exactly how you use Azpilicueta once in 3 months.
Right. So you should have sold him to Barcelona, ripped them off, and then use the money and get somebody I don't understand.
Yeah, and like since we are not a complete team, what really helps in such scenarios are like I like to call them cheat code players, and two of our cheat code players, N'Golo Kante and Reece James, are now out for a long time. Reece James, he's an attacker and a defender in one. Kante, when he plays, he is two midfielders in one. So this is a really big blow. Like when Wesley Fofana got injured and he's going to be out for a long-term injury too. Damn. I wasn't like that bothered.
That is so crazy. You just bought this guy.
Yeah.
For so much money.
And
how much did you pay for him?
70 million.
How much? Because you needed him. And then how long is he out for?
It's an ACL, so he's probably out for till at least after the World Cup. So I don't even know.
How long was he? He was out for an entire season with Leicester.
Yeah.
For what happened to him then? That was
I don't think that was an ACL. That was something else.
But it was one of those things that does you for a year.
Yeah.
It's one of, because I get the ACL and there's this other injury that sounds like an ACL. That one's a knee thing and one's an ankle thing, and you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's
Achilles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so weird. Like it's always these Italian teams when we beat them. Like last season we beat Juventus 4-0 and Chilwell got injured doing a tackle in that game, and he was out for and that pretty much collapsed our season. And then this time it's AC Milan first game, Wesley Fofana goes out. Second game, Reece James goes out. So yeah, we got it. But I will say both games though, the Milan game and especially this last game, I have to talk about Kepa. Kepa is now, I don't know how he's done this thing, but he's not a charity case anymore. Like he's actually performing at the top level, and good for him.
I saw the saves he made in this game.
Yeah,
and I feel like the commentator said something that she was a little overboard, but then everybody's been repeating it. Like I still need to see more to be impressed. I don't think he saved anything that anybody couldn't have saved.
No, I think the first one, like the double save, right? Especially when anytime you make a double save, and with the second of the double save being like your full stretch, I think that's pretty crazy. And also the close range header, which he saved pretty much, going back towards goal and ball coming this way. He was going the other way and the ball's coming this way at close range. This is kind of like the save Peter Cech made on Ronaldo back in the day in a cup final, I think. It's one of the best saves I've seen, and Kepa, I feel like this is very close to that.
I feel like it was savable, but I did like the screenshot of both Ings laying face down
Danny
and Kepa laying on his back and the ball over the net, and that moment of like of both of their efforts and the ball, and that's just football to me. I really like that.
I don't know what's gonna happen though, because this is pretty weird, because Mendy actually Kepa got his chance because Mendy was injured. Right. And Mendy's been making, he's not been at his peak Mendy level.
No, he hasn't.
But I don't know, like if there's a Champions League final tomorrow and Chelsea's playing, I might still go with Mendy. Because I'm still, but Kepa's keeping him out on merit now. Like, so you can't really knock the guy. I don't want him to lose his spot either, because that would be unfair. So
yeah, I wouldn't turn your back on Kepa yet. Give him a few games to see if this is really going to be the new Kepa. Yeah. And if he turns into an 80 million goalkeeper, and somebody then you have Mendy and you have him, and then you could sell him and get your money back. You know what I mean? So it's like this is a win-win and you guys spent some money. You need to get some money back, just the Fofana thing and Reece James.
He probably wants that World Cup squad, World Cup spot back too.
Well, Iker Casillas is trying to help him get it. Like he was like praising him online. So I was like, you're being overboard too, Casillas. Calm down. You that's the homie. I get it, fam. Relax. Let's let's just run through real quick the rest of the games. And I'll just tell you a little bit about a Classico after. So Manchester United play Newcastle. I'm not upset about 0-0. I'm not upset about the performance, or how the team plays. I'm kind of like, don't understand our fans. It's not even the game. Yeah, let me get into this. So Man United was in the middle of a rebuild, and during the rebuild, you're gonna have some rebuilding results. But there are some things we want to happen. There's some things we want to happen, and those things, even though we didn't get the win, happened in this game. You don't want to lose. You want to get a clean sheet. So we had 15 shots. We had 63% possession. We had 512 passes. They had 301, 81% accuracy. They, at the second part of the first half, took over the game, and we looked shook. And we looked shook. And I was like, oh, you could see the old Man United lack of confidence start to creep into the team. But then the second half, we came out and we dominated. And which is, you want control, right? Control, you don't want just wins. You want control. And sometimes when you're a team that's growing, you get control before you get goals. And then at the end of the game, we put Marcus Rashford in, and he created a chance with Fred, which, yeah, Fred was not so good. He wasn't bad, but there was some key moments where he could win you the game, and he had some shots, and it was a problem that those shots were not on his left foot. If you pass the ball to Fred's right foot, he's going to shift it, and there ain't that much time in the EPL to be shifting to your foot. You don't got now time to fluff your pillow and make the bed the way you want it before you lay down. You just got to lay the fuck down immediately. And he didn't do that. And so, but then Marcus Rashford also had an opportunity right at the end, a header, him and the goalkeeper, Casemiro got him the ball, and it just went wide. And that was like, we could have won the game. But it's the way the fans are taking this like a loss and ignoring the fact that, hey, stop. They tell you this in life. You can't look at the people around you and what they're doing. You have to focus on what you're doing and be happy with that, just as long as you're growing. And that's how, like, as a comic, like, how did I write on shows now, right? But when I started, I needed one joke first. And after I got that one joke, I needed two jokes. After that, I needed three jokes. And then a 10-minute set got me my first TV set, because I only had to use 5 minutes of it, but it was solid. And then you start getting other things from that. And that's what United rebuilding is like. You can't just be like looking at everybody dropping Netflix specials, like, where my Netflix special at? You have to work towards that, get that 5-minute set. And that's what we're doing. So also to draw with Newcastle, right? I'm going to go to Newcastle for a second.
Newcastle's pretty much right there. Like,
they have a great CV. So to draw with Newcastle and be disappointed, whether it was at home or not, I'm just waiting for my computer. I want to read off Newcastle. First of all, their team got the most behind City and Liverpool last season. They in the second half of the season got the third most points. So that's like the third best team in the league last season. The third, right? This season, I'm trying to see how I can just, let me go to standings.
I mean, they're Newcastle is 6th. They're just behind you.
Right. And
they played an extra game, but they're 6th.
Yeah, but I just want to like read off their CV. They smashed Brentford, who smashed us, right? 5-1, right? What else? Man City, they went up 3-1 on Man City, tied 3-0. Man City, who smashed us, right? Who else did they do? What else is this going into last year? I think it's going into last year. Like, so a team that's shown so much quality, like why are we disrespecting the point that we got against them? I don't understand. Like they could have beat us. And then they have a very dominant ball controlling, possession controlling midfield, and we control them. So it's like, I want the 3 points, but I'm not going to, after this game, be like trashing our players and not understanding the process. Like, y'all know what it is, so then act like you know what it is, you know? And and then, like, I look at a lot of the United podcast, United View, United Stand, and the player ratings that they gave are so low. Like, how do you give a goalkeeper who had a clean sheet a 5? How do you give a defense that had a clean sheet like 4s and 5s? Like that's an old, like a clean sheet is a hat trick for a defender. And so you saying everybody just played trash and we just ended up against a team that scored 3 on City, who trashed us. We accidentally got a clean sheet. No, we worked for it. So like, give the guys the points for the clean sheet.
And also, like I've been hearing United fans also, these probably the same fans that are also complaining about penalties not being given to United in this game. So they admit that United should have won that game. Like they played.
Yeah, we should have got 2 penalties, and they maybe should have got 1. So, but that's 2 for us. Sancho got taken. Like they gave Sancho a bad rating, but Sancho, like if that was Gabriel Jesus, they would have given him that penalty. He got a Gabriel Jesus penalty in the box, and then who else deserved a penalty from us? I'm trying to remember right now. Blanking.
Ronaldo or Fred?
Shit, it might have been Ronaldo, but somebody who's watching or listening will remember who, like, they didn't call the penalty, but Sancho was one, and I can't remember the other one. So we deserve 2 penalties in this game. So you're right about that. So I'm confused. I'm confused. I thought we was all rebuilding and we were in rebuilding mode. But Man United fans, as soon as there's any positivity, we look to where we used to be and be like, how come we're not there? I thought we were rebuilding. Why is this rebuild taking more than a week? Like,
it was Ronaldo, the penalty.
Yeah, it was a Ronaldo
second
penalty.
one,
Yeah. So, listen, I'm fine with what happened. Did I want the 3? Yeah, but I saw some things, like we beat Ammonia midweek, and they're like, they don't give no credit to Tom McTominay for coming on at the end of the game and scoring. It's just like everybody acted, I swear, like we lost 5-0 to Ammonia.
And also, like, what is exactly is the problem? Like, if you're 5th on the table, your goal
with a game in hand,
and you've played a lot of tough games. Like, for example, Chelsea is going to have a tough time because we haven't played. We like our next 5 games or next 6 games, we have like 4 of the top 6 to play. So. That's going to take a toll. So that also we might take some points off others. So the table lies at this point. Unless you have at least, like, you're coming towards the second half of the midway point. There's no point, like, unless you're like way off, which, for example, some team like Aston Villa might be looking at where they want to be.
They're trying to. Aston Villa is so off, they're trying to get Gerrard fired. Steven Gerrard. And it's like, I can't argue. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, Steve, but they are not happy with you. You Chelsea fans were singing, "You're getting fired."
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Chelsea fans were singing that during the game. You missed that song.
Yeah. We have quite a few Gerrard songs, so that's all right.
Hilarious. Yeah, you definitely applied it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like our fan base needs to chill. Like, I feel like it sometimes the fans could add pressure. It's like if you're a parent and you beat your kids all the time, it's not going to end well. And we can't beat our players all the time.
Yeah.
We just it's just we just can't, you know. We gotta like show some type of joy or gratitude or thankfulness. You can't be like, this is the toughest league in the world, and then when results are tough, be incredulous to the results. It's like, you respect the league or no? Is it the toughest league in the world or no? So I feel like our fans need to got no chill sometimes. Let's see. I'm trying to bring up my thing is not helping. I ain't get no help on this internet.
What do you have to say about the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that because I forgot. So Benzema, you know, I really this might have been shots fired by Mourinho, but you know, I saw when he won and that they played a video and they had like different coaches talk about Benzema, and Mourinho said he's not like one of those players where it's all about him, it's about the team, and he'll do anything to help the team to win. So I don't know if he was shots fired at Ronaldo, but I do know that statement is true because he has all this ability and he held it back. He played second to Ronaldo, so that because Ronaldo was a focal point, and you never heard him bitch once, right?
Also, it wouldn't have been easy because it's not like Benzema is one of those background character, Luka Modric kind of guys who doesn't have a personality of his own. Right. Benzema has a big personality of his own too. So to actually have,
see it now.
Yeah. So to actually have the capability to curtail it and work for the team, work for people like Ronaldo, it's insane. Like how is he even able to make that happen?
Right. And then so here's the kicker. So then Ronaldo leaves, and then they hand the responsibility to you. But you're 34 or however. So then they're like, so if you fail, they'd be like, you were Scottie Pippen. You were never that guy.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they handed you the responsibility of the team in your prime. They handed it to you at the end of your career, and then you fucking delivered like you're in your motherfucking prime, and you won the league and you won the Champions League. And then I should have took a screenshot of like how many goals he scored in the league and how many assists.
Also,
and how many goals he scored in the Champions League and how many assists. And you're like, this guy could have been doing this shit. So does he deserve the Ballon d'Or? I feel bad for Manny. I feel bad how they discount the African League of Nations, Cup of Nations. And I can't even say it, so I'm a bad, terrible person too. So I feel bad for that. But because of the things I just said, good for Benzema.
And also, like, as you're saying, they gave him the power at Real Madrid when he's not in his prime. They also gave it very reluctantly. Like it was almost like they wanted a replacement for Ronaldo. They tried to get the Jovic guy, and that didn't work out. They're like, oh, okay, maybe we'll just use Benzema, And then even after that, like, okay, Vinicius is Vinicius now, but Benzema babysat Vinicius for a long, long time, right? And then, and for like it's been almost 2-3 years now. They've been trying to get Kylian Mbappe in. They almost did get Mbappe in.
While they're trying to replace you.
Yeah, exactly. So you're
Imagine,
like you're actually steering the ship
right
to safety while someone's trying to push you, bump you off the ship.
yeah.
This is
Imagine
crazy.
winning the Ballon d'Or while they're trying to replace you.
Yeah.
The biggest story in the news is your replacement. Is
Yeah.
he or isn't he coming? Is he gonna leave? It is your countryman. Like the
Yeah.
biggest story. So like this has got to, you know what, Mane, I know you went through a lot, but this has to be crazy. Now, and let me just add something to this. Not only do they hand you the the keys to a ship, it's an old ass ship. You got Luka Modric,
Oh,
98,
yeah.
Cruz,
I mean,
75, Casemiro, and then you some underage kid that's so young a priest would touch him to fill in. And you have to like
last season,
lead this mixture.
last
And
season,
you'll do all that.
I mean, last season, like what you're saying, it's an old ass ship. Last season, they won the championship. They're not coming anywhere near. Forget winning it. Like they're not even going past. I think it was PSG in the round of 16. PSG, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. Like that was Benzema. Like the goal he scored against us. That's one of the most insane header goals I've ever seen. He's not supposed to score from there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And
you know what?
Then he in the even last season, the fact that he even came up to the semifinals, that was Benzema. Yeah. The fact that he even kept it competitive against Chelsea last season was Benzema because he scored that insane goal against Mendy in the first leg, which he's not supposed to score. So I think he deserves, like, you know, all this talk about Ronaldo, Messi has been winning Ballon d'Or for so many years, right? And this is the first time in, I think, since 2005 that neither of them are in the top three. So who would that guy be who first wins it after these guys, right? So I think Benzema is the worthy player for that level of. He's goated too.
Yeah, he deserves it. And not only that, you could see it in the quality of his touches. Yeah. And if Mane wanted a Ballon d'Or, he went head to head against Real Madrid and Benzema in the Champions League. And if he didn't score, if he'd have scored, it was his. That was the moment to take it. You know the odds are stacked against you. That's when you got to do what you got to do. And Benzema and them did it. So sorry, fam. Sorry, fam.
Yeah, and Benzema won the league and the Champions League.
Yeah,
yeah. So, but yeah, Mane came second. Like that's not you coming second at the Ballon d'Or isn't a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but you do want first. But you know, the only person I really feel bad for is Lewandowski. I still don't understand why they didn't have the award the year before. Like you still played the games. I don't. There was still a Champions League final. Like how the fuck do you just decide there is like give it to the dude, bro? Like they should still just. It doesn't. And it's weird to have the Ballon d'Or now when there's going to be a World Cup, and it's like, why isn't this? Is this the time of year they normally do this?
Yeah. I mean, they do it near the end of the year. So, but I also heard that they're gonna, from next season, or maybe it's the season after that they're gonna now have the Ballon d'Or according to the European season calendar, now, instead of having a calendar year. So
at the end of the calendar year?
No, so right now this Ballon d'Or was for 2022, right? So it is basically for achievements and performances in the year 2022. Right. So I think they're trying to move it so that it's for achievements and performances in the season instead of in the calendar year.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't know if that change is going to be from next season itself.
Right, the World Cup is going to throw that award off, because if a big star wins the World Cup, it might not matter what somebody does in Europe.
Well, here's a scenario
for their club.
Messi or Neymar wins the World Cup, and obviously they're gonna get all the goals they get, but then Haaland scores like 1,000,000 goals, wins the league and the Champions League.
You give it to the World Cup person.
But Haaland might have an insane record. Like he might beat the all-time Premier League goals record by like 10, which is insane.
Yeah, but you got to think Messi has scored 50-something goals before. It's 60 goals in a season. So is Ronaldo. So you're just going to be like, those numbers have been accomplished in a
But club. They also won the Ballon d'Or, right? When they scored those goals.
Right, but then if one of them, whoever won, if one of them had won the World Cup, it would have trumped any one of their Ballon d'Or, any one of their European, any one of them who had the most European goals. It's just that the World Cup was won by somebody that wasn't them. Like, put it, you know what I mean? Like, just the same way.
I hope neither, just for the sake of conversations, I hope neither Argentina or Portugal win the World Cup.
Let's see. Well, don't forget, don't forget Brazil could win it. Then you, like you said before, Neymar, yeah. I just want to say something.
Go ahead.
I just want to say something in Neymar and Mbappe and defense. Like the way these shows shit on them because they haven't won a Champions League, it's so disrespectful. Like these guys have won the biggest trophies that football has to offer. Mbappe has won a World Cup. And he wins the league every year. And yeah, it ain't perfect, but you can't use a Champions League title that happens every year to like nullify somebody's World Cup. And then you can't be like, hey, this guy's not good enough and he's a failure because he hasn't won the World Cup. And then have a guy who's won multiple Champions Leagues on his team and say, this guy's not good enough because he hasn't won the Champions League. When he's won the Champions League, it's like, so I just want to defend them guys a little bit. It doesn't make sense. Like, just like you pundits, calm the fuck down.
Also, Kylian Mbappe. So you know the report that came out this week about him causing. He badly wants Neymar out, doesn't want to play up front by his own. He was promised that they're gonna get another player, stuff like that, and he has this ego and stuff. And now I see all these shows where people are talking about, I wouldn't have Mbappe at my club. I'm like, are you crazy? This is Kylian Mbappe. Like, you're telling me that Kylian Mbappe, tomorrow, Kylian Mbappe comes to your club and you're going to say no?
Right.
Because you think his ego. So what are we saying? Like, Mbappe, he's like, what?
That sounds like your ego's out the short country.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this dude is 23, 24, right? So are we saying that for the rest of his career, he's never going to be successful? He's never gonna, he's never gonna win a Champions League. He's never gonna continue breaking records. So he is gonna do that, right? Which means there is gonna be some club, some manager, some combination of club, manager, formation, tactics, whatever, that's gonna keep him successful, right? So why can't that be your club, which you think Mbappe is beneath you now?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, I would take it. Like, I actually think I would be very surprised if Premier League clubs aren't absolutely seriously looking at Mbappe for this next summer. Because I feel Erling Haaland has kind of changed the needs and equation in the Premier League. Some club will have to respond. You can't just let this...
you can't just have Man City have their way with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I heard I've read a thing that said he prefers the Premier League now. That's where he wants to go. So,
I mean, if I'm Mbappe and okay, Messi Ronaldo era is gone, it's going to be me versus Haaland. You know how people, like how football conversations happen, right? No matter what you do in La Liga, if Haaland is winning Golden Boot after Golden Boot in the Premier League, he will always be considered to be the better player because he's doing it in the tougher league.
Right.
So if I'm Mbappe, I want to put myself in there too and like not let him have that above me.
Right. He is that type of guy too. He wants that smoke.
He wants that smoke, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I'm gonna run through because we gotta go soon. So I'm gonna just run through these scores real quick. Brentford beat Brighton 2-0. Ivan Toney showing his class. Just, the first goal he scored and the penalty that he earned, just, and Italian coach, I think he's good, but struggling a little bit. But like Lee said, maybe he'll have a chance to get some points against, I think, Forest midweek. Wolves, Nottingham Forest. I don't even know who the fuck Wolves coach is, but they don't have one, and they beat Nottingham Forest. That's how bad Nottingham Forest is. They got beat by a team with no coach. Spurs, ugly, hideous win against Everton. Like, yuck. But 2-0, Harry Kane. I think he got both goals, definitely a penalty. And did he score? Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. But yuck, Tottenham win. We talked about Villa-Chelsea. That's Neil's team trying to get Steven Gerrard fired.
We're in the manager sacking business.
Yeah.
Ours, yours, it doesn't matter. We're equal opportunity employers.
It's hilarious. And then you're in the manager sacking business. You sack your successful managers and sack the whole team. Like, well, who can we get fired next? We can't get somebody. Let's fire our people. Leicester, Crystal Palace, good game, 0-0. Vieira and Brendan Rodgers get some points. Fulham, Bournemouth, 2-2, great match. I woke up early, and it was worth watching that match, 2-2. And that Bournemouth first goal, class, just reeks of class. Just pass down it, boom, 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 net, and then just class. So Bournemouth just continues to impress. Lee, I respect this point that he got against West Ham, but he doesn't so much. Leeds, Arsenal. Arsenal, you lucky son of a bitches. I tell you, this team, Arsenal, has outplayed everyone. Even when they lost to us, they claimed they outplayed us. But in this game here, you got outplayed. Leeds was all over you like their white jerseys on rice. They balled out, and Aronson, am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
What a baller. What a fucking American. Like, he's, I see this. It's like, I haven't told you a story of like Brenton Biddlecombe. Like, he used to go on stage when he first started at the store. He's working at the store, and he had these jokes. And I was like, as a joke writer, like, these jokes are funny, but for some reason, the crowd ain't laughing. And that happens with comics until that day, all of a sudden, they get what they deserve from the jokes. They say them the same way, but for some reason, the crowd receives them differently, the way they're supposed to be received, and then they get the response, and you see that breakthrough moment, and the person keeps going on and up. And this Aronson kid, like, fearless. This whole Leeds team, fearless. There's this Sinisteri, fearless. So they blew a penalty with Bamford, but that game, I hope Leeds is America's Premier League team. So because the coach, and they have American players. So I hope the coach keeps his job, because they played ball, but they haven't won in the last 5 games or so. And then we already talked about Liverpool, Man City. And so that's it. Anything you want to throw in?
I do want to say.
So what?
I do want to say I topped the game week on the Fantasy Premier League, on the Fantasy League.
You what?
I topped this week's fantasy.
Nah, you're lying, bro.
I did.
No, you didn't. It's impossible.
I did.
Did you by luck, or you actually interfered and made some changes?
Mason Mount scored 2 goals. You know, all my Coben boys showed up. Declan Rice scored. So yeah, I'm still like near the bottom, but I think I'm 12th in October, which is when I started taking it seriously. So you know,
you say you're 12th?
And like if I just look at October, because it doesn't let me like go just game by every game week, but this current game week I am at the top.
All right, we're gonna have. Go ahead.
But yeah, like you know, good to see Martin's hanging on to number 3. He's hanging on to the podium. He's third on 653 points.
Boo, Martin, boo.
And then Gajun Lau, I love his team's name. It says, "Hello, you can't." he's second on 656. And Joachim Henriksen at Boca FC is first on 658.
Damn. I don't even want to know where I'm at. I didn't touch it. I just be letting the computer do it. Like, because I told you about my frustrations.
Yeah, you're doing okay. You're I mean, you're better than me, which is not saying a lot. Overall, you're at 28th.
That's not bad. I think I was lower.
Yeah.
But I should reset it. Maybe I've given up mentally. I'm like, it's too, you know what I mean? I'll try one more time.
Leeds on 13th.
He dropped.
Yeah.
So. Maybe all that traveling to the Arsenal Liverpool game and going to the Marseille versus PSG game.
Yeah.
Maybe that dropped him. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
No, I just had to gloat a little bit on that.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. I'm shocked. I'm like, did you actually do something? You played some Football Manager?
I'm actually like, since I started taking it seriously, I'm actually pretty close to Martin. Like, I'm 196 points in October. He's 198. So,
but in October, right?
In only
please
October. Yeah.
You know what? I think you just reignited my lack of passion.
Yeah.
But who knows if it'll last?
Yeah.
Past this Zoom. You know what I mean? I'm not. Yeah. But I should try. I should put an effort in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna play football tonight with Martin too. So we're gonna actually play tonight. Yeah.
That's cool.
So we're gonna play at 9. So, but yeah, we can go over these. See what happens on Thursday with this week's.
Hopefully on Thursday we get to speak about Pochettino. This apparently Villa trying to. If they sack Gerrard, apparently Pochettino is their choice.
Say that again.
Apparently, Villa are looking very closely at Pochettino. They're trying to tempt him.
So. Yeah, I know. That's all. That's all.
Media talk.
No. That's Lloyd has been bringing Pochettino up for the last 4 weeks. Like, it's almost like he wants Gerrard to do bad, so that they just invite. Look, but I don't know if Villa is the level that Pochettino wants to be at.
He should, but you know, stranger things have happened. Antonio Conte went to Tottenham, so you never know.
I mean, Ancelotti went to Everton, which was bizarre as fuck.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, fam. Thanks for being on. It was great. Shout out to Aaron Brungardt, our producer, for putting this on. And thank you for listening. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Leave a comment. And thank you for listening at Omni Studio and iTunes and Spotify and at allthingscomedy.com. And I think there's some other places, but I can't remember all of them right now. Be good, and we'll be back on Thursday with the midweek games. All right? 1.
All right. Quick one. 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Got it.
All right, cool. Thanks, fam.
Thanks. See ya.
All right, see you. 1. All right.
Can you put this